Hey, this is Chris. You're watching my full interview on the Untold interview. Lock in.
What's up, Kristen?
How you doing?
I'm chilling. I'm chilling. Welcome
Good
to
to
the
see
Untold
you,
interview.
Jay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I
No doubt.
appreciate being here. Thank you for having me.
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. Where you from?
I am originally from Germantown, so
Okay.
that's the
Okay.
only neighborhood I claim, Germantown. Yeah.
What part?
All right, so I'm from the west side of Germantown, so we bounce around a lot. So from Wayne to Morton to Knox, that whole solo Germantown area.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
North Germantown, Northwest Germantown, that whole
Okay.
side.
You went to Germantown High School?
I did not. I'm a little young for that. I went to Central High School.
Central. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Now, what
yeah.
about Roosevelt?
No, I went to Imani.
Oh, okay.
I
That's
am
not bad.
a Imani charter school kid.
All right. All
Imani
right.
Education Circle Charter School.
No doubt. No
Yeah.
doubt. No doubt. I am from Morton Homes Projects.
Hey,
That's that
around the
cause that
corner.
yeah, right around the corner. Morton Street, Haynes
Yeah,
Street, Rittenhouse,
yeah.
and growing up in Germantown, it really shaped the person who I am today.
Mm.
I'll move and I'll come back. I'll move, I'll come back. Some odd reason it brings me back a full surface back here.
Call home.
Yeah, it's home. It's home. It's home. My mom still live in Germantown. My
Oh, word.
sister, everybody still live in Germantown, so I always come back around. Now,
Yeah.
for people that don't know you, how would you describe yourself in your own words?
I am a woman who really loves my community and loves what I do. I would say first and foremost, I am a creative. I absolutely love everything about art and culture. That's kind of my heart. I'm a God fearing woman. So at the end of the day, my mission in life is to make God proud and to just do what is told to me and be as obedient as possible. And I think that and my faith is a huge part of what called me to do what it is that I do,
Right.
and be who it is that I am and have the outlooks and things that I have in life. That being said, I would also say that I'm a multitude of things when it comes to artistry. Like my background is music, dance, uh, I draw, I teach. I'm a teaching artist.
That's
Uh,
nice.
yeah, I'm a creative thinker, creative entrepreneur. It's a whole slew of things. I don't like putting limits on my creativity because at the end of the day, chances are, if it's creative, I'll try it.
Now, growing up in Germantown, you spoke of dancing.
Yeah.
Growing up in Germantown, what early experience shaped your passion for dancing?
Oh, I am a Canaan Institute
Okay.
child. Yeah, so uh, I'm a Canaan baby. So dancing growing up was a huge part of, me discovering my love for performance. Um, I will say that having danced at such a young age exposed me to how my brain worked.
Okay.
It allowed me to see myself a little differently. I was always into school and reading, that was a huge thing for me, but there was something special about creation. There was something special about being able to communicate a little differently,
Okay.
to express yourself a little differently. Um, and that to me was my favorite thing ever. I loved performing. You could catch me dancing on the sidewalk, dancing in the street, like wherever I was able to, I'm performing. So that's essentially what my early experience with dance got me to know.
Now, who influenced you to dance?
Oh, that's easy. Honestly, it's very easy. It's Janet Jackson.
Okay. Okay.
Um, there's a magic of the switch between a person and their performance slash artistry, um, which influences also how I teach dance. You're a dancer, a performer, and an artist. Um, Being able to grow up with examples like Janet definitely allowed me to see that there's multitudes of people. Like we're not just one thing.
Right.
And that there is greatness in the way that you allow yourself to be perceived by people. And that is its own language, you know?
Right.
Like it's a shared language. When you're on stage, when you're performing, when you're giving people your art, um, the way that they receive it is its own kind of language.
Right.
And I love that experience. So definitely Janet Jackson.
Now, at what age was your first time on stage dancing?
I performed at my parents' wedding.
Okay.
So honestly, I'll say I started dancing with Kanan pretty early in life. I want to say I also performed there. So three, I'll say about three.
Oh,
3 or
wow.
4 was my first time like actually creating a space for me to like do my thing. Like
Right.
my
Right.
parents were absolutely awesome when it came to stuff like that. Like making sure that there was a space for me to show off, and because that's what it is when you're 3 or 4,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
show it off. There's a place for me to show off and do what it was that I love doing. Yeah.
Now, in your household, you know, was dancing, art, and music, and played a role in your household?
Yeah, 100%. Both my parents are creative. My mom sings.
Okay.
My dad's a rapper.
Okay.
Yeah, so the household was always musical. Everything that we did was creative. Talent shows, uh, family jam sessions, like everything we did was creative. It was trips to the studio that really like fueled my love for recording and music production. So yeah, we were a musical household, definitely.
Nice. Nice. Now, growing up, in school, your
Yeah.
teacher would ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Uh-huh.
Where you at now, was that on the menu for you at that time?
Not even a little bit. You couldn't tell me. Not even a little bit. You couldn't tell me. I mean, no, you couldn't tell me when I was younger that I wasn't going to be traveling the world on tour performing for somebody.
Right.
Like
Right.
that was it. I had one answer and one answer only. And I was sticking to it. If that was if that was the last thing I did. But yeah, no, I wanted to be a performer. I wanted to be somebody that gave people that feeling of euphoria
Right.
just from expressing themselves and performing. I wanted to use my creativity to transport people to different worlds. Um, so that essentially is where I thought I would be. And I mean, I kept that until I was about, what, 20?
Okay.
20
Okay.
something? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for art,
Yeah.
at what moment did you realize that art would be a tool for change?
I think I realized that a little earlier than I'll say most. My teachers were very good at making sure that I was encouraged in my creativity.
Okay.
Growing up, I will say I was super blessed for that. Like my reward for doing my work was being able to be creative.
Right.
So I would get the assignment of turning a Maya Angelou poem and putting it to a beat, you know?
Wow.
Being able to tell different stories in history through a song or something of that sort. Like my teachers were absolutely amazing advocates for my creativity in that way. And so I learned pretty early on that there was messaging, there was a purpose for art, there's things you can do to change how people perceive certain situations, how people relate to one another, um, and how people think and the questions that they ask. I learned that like pretty early on based off of those type of assignments.
Now, being the Germantown native, speaking of schools,
Yeah.
a lot of the schools, have closing.
Yes.
Germantown High School being one of them. Now, due to the fact that Germantown High School, did close, how did that affect your outlook on, the community buildings?
I recall it being a discussion point, the school closing, because they shut down a bunch of schools at once. And it was, what does that feel like? Um, how does it affect, you know, young people, youth,
Right.
and what should our response be? And I remember my answer being, it felt disrespectful. It felt as if,
Right.
the system did not care. Like the city did not care about young people, what they were doing, who they were going to be, and what they needed. Um, and what we could do about that was to continue to advocate. We could continue to make things that got people to change their mind. We could continue to make spaces ourselves, that responded to the lack of investment and the lack of care that we saw in our school system.
Right.
Um, Spaces and places that are made by people. I was always taught that learning doesn't start or stop in a classroom, that you are indeed the person in charge of your education and what it is that you know. And so, if you want to know something, you have to go out and seek and find that information. I was also taught that I am because we are. And there is a different strength when you understand that shared humanity,
Right.
and people. So it was an opportunity for us to respond by action, by creating another way of taking care of kids,
Right.
of making sure that folks knew exactly who was in their corner, that we knew we had community to rely on, that we knew that education didn't start or stop with the closing of a school. It definitely hurt us, but we were going to have to be responsible or more responsible in what our journey forward was going to be. If that was the length that the system was going to go to essentially stop the education of young children, then we as a community needed to respond in a way that made that null and void.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people, they don't know that I believe Obama first term, running for president,
Mm-hmm.
he actually came to Germantown and
Yes.
Fulton School, for his first term, which made history not just in Philadelphia, but just to narrow it down to the Germantown area. And then it was shortly after that where they closed Fulton, and then they also closed Germantown.
I did not know he went to Fulton School.
No, 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 no. He went to Fulton School for Raleigh.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that. I knew
Yeah.
about the Vernon Park
Yep.
Raleigh, but I didn't know about the Fulton School Raleigh.
Yep.
That's
He
cool.
yep, he went there, and it made history, man. Everybody in Germantown came out to support. And then, like I said, shortly after, Fulton School closed, which is directly across the street from Germantown
Yeah,
High School, and then Germantown High
high school.
School.
Cool.
Yeah, and now I believe over at Germantown High School, it's a apartment unit slash a church on the other side,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of sad to see it went down like that,
Yeah,
because a lot of our family friends went to
Germantown.
Germantown.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. What role has dance played a healing in your identity through life?
Um, that's a really good question. So, my relationship with dance is a little different these days. What I will say about it is, in the beginning, um, it was that was my outlet. That was mine. Dance was mine. You couldn't take away my body's movement.
Right.
You know. Um, you couldn't take away what or how I responded to rhythm or a song. Um, and that gave me a sense of control. And
Okay.
when you're a young person in a world where they close schools down, just for shits and giggles. Oh, I'm
Right.
sorry. Can we? Okay. Um, when you're a young person in a world where you lose power, or there are several examples all the time of just how not in control you are. You seek control. You seek ways in which be uh, you can have authority over what's happening.
Right.
Dance was that for me. Dance was my way of having my own agency and making sure that I understood that what I want to happen happen. When I want my body to do something, I can have it do that thing. Um, so yeah, I'll say healing wise, it definitely is one of those things where like it teaches you it teaches you advocacy, it teaches you agency over yourself, and it gives you a sense of control. It gave me a sense of control
Right.
growing up.
Age 21,
Well,
you opened your first studio. Like,
yeah,
what gave you the courage to do that?
I like to say it was delusion.
Okay, okay.
I like to say it was a lot of hustle and delusion. No, it really was faith. Um, I look at a lot of things as a puzzle or a problem,
Right.
and you reverse engineer it. Uh, I am co-owner of Kinesic Stance Dynamics. I opened that with three other wonderful artists: Shanice Williford, Lauren Walton, Katrina Lambert. And Kinesic Dance Dynamics was birthed out of a need for a new space. We
Right.
were in a studio that wasn't great. It just didn't feel good to anyone involved. And Lauren one day said, I always wanted to open my own studio. I have a group of friends. We tried before, we thought about it, but nothing really came of it. And I was delusional in the moment enough to be like, we can make it happen. Like, it sounds like a very simple solution. You want a dance studio? Let's get a dance studio. Um, and from that came a lot of meetings, a lot of research, a lot of class taking, and more meetings and more research and
Right.
learning how exactly you open a business like that. And through that wonderful collaboration, we were able to get a brick and mortar and open our doors in 2017, I believe.
Okay.
Um, yeah, but we had been working on it for over a year at that point, just meeting and doing all the things. 2016 is when we started. Yeah, somewhere around there, 2016, 2017. Yeah, it was a good journey. It was a lot of delusion, a lot of faith, a lot of work. But I'll say it's one of my favorite things. Like, be delusional about what it is you want in your dreams to a certain extent. Like, you have to be. When you say you want something, you have to be delusional enough to believe that you can have it in order to do the work
Right.
to actually get there.
Now, starting a business, especially being a person that's a creator, a
Mm.
visionary, an artist, what were some of the pros and cons, from 2016
Yeah.
in 2025?
Mm. Ask that question one more time for me.
What are some of the pros and cons, starting a business, being a creator, that you had to face from 2016 to 2025?
Um, some pros, some cons. Pro, uh, you get to create the world you wish to see. A con, you get to create the world you wish to see. So that being said, it's your vision,
Right.
and you have to commit to it, and also commit to understanding that things change. So because you're the creator of it, you have to be a level of flexible and learn to be a level of flexible with your dream. But you also have to protect it at the same time, uh, and be firm and sturdy in what it is that you want. Um, So yeah, the creation of it, the control of it, it's beautiful. And at the same time, there's lessons within that control of having that control. Um, some other ones, you are challenged every day. Like it's a ride. it's
Right,
it's
right,
it's a ride. You're challenged every day. There is something new to learn at all times. To this day, we have been open 8 years, 7, 8 years, 9 years. We're in our ninth year, our ninth season. Um, yeah, you are challenged every day. You get to ask the question of, well, how will this go today? Um, and the type of business that you have and the type of business that I have, I'm engaged with young people all the time. Like I'm engaged with families all the time. What is super interesting is no one actually thinks about ahead of time. I don't know if people do, but I didn't think about ahead of time the amount of lives that
right.
that meant that I was going to be interacting with. Um, being in people's lives and being a figure or part of somebody's village, that's a lot. Like
It is.
that's a weighted role. And you're somebody's village for several families.
Right,
Um, it's a pro, and also it's something to consider when you're opening a business, right? Like you have to be willing to make that commitment. You have to be willing to show up based off of you know your capacity, but you have to be willing to show up. You're not just um, checking in and checking out. As the dance teacher, you're not just checking in and checking out at
right,
the end of
right.
your class. Like that's a full commitment. That is family. You get dance family. You don't just get a dance student. Um, so yeah, you gotta really evaluate like the weight of what it is you're asking for versus the capacity that you have to do and execute that thing. Um, but I've never been so grateful in my life to be considered part of so many people's lives and so many people's village. Um, it truly is an honor that people trust you with their kids.
Right.
that's that's a thing, man. You trust me with the life of your child, even if it's for a few hours a day. Like you trust me with their mind, with their body, with their spirit, and that's that's a big thing, and that's a big honor, and I don't take that lightly. So yeah, that's another pro. Um, and I'll say realistically, a con, you gotta keep learning. Your head has to be on a swivel. Like business changes.
It does.
business
It does.
business changes, the economy changes, situations change, and you have to be able to adjust, be flexible, roll with it, learn, and then respond. Like it's one thing to know what's happening, it's another thing to respond
Right.
so that you have the outcome that you best desire or you most desire.
Now, being an artist and an entrepreneur, like how do you balance yourself, especially being a black woman
hmm
that's taking the leadership role?
mm The answer to that question would sound really great in like 2 years when I'm a little bit better at it. I am just now getting into the practice of figuring out how to balance um, being a person outside of what it is that I do.
Right.
Um, I'm learning more practices around being a human being and not a human doing, and figuring out what the healthy way of work life looks like. Because the way that I view life is creatively. Like
Right.
my life is just it's creative. Everything that I do is what it is. Um, and it's here. So when you make your community and your passion slash your lifestyle your work, it's very difficult to separate and figure out what a work life balance looks like. I go out and chances are I'm still networking. I'm still
Right,
working.
right.
I'm still, trying to figure out how to get whatever goal is the goal done. Um, I'm watching concerts or plays and I'm still thinking about what that means for my studio or for my theater. Like, how does it work for the arts district? And I am hoping for better practices where I can not necessarily turn it off, but I can pause it,
Right, right.
pause it and still just be able to be present. But I think right now I'm in hustle mode. Like I'm in grind mode, grind season. So I don't necessarily want to uh I'll say condemn myself for not, having it all figured out. But I'll definitely get better at it with time. I know that.
Now, speaking of the arts district,
Yeah.
what inspired you to create the Germantown Arts District?
That is a complex thing. I think the Germantown Arts District comes from a need of Germantown not having any entity that represented the arts and culture, the small businesses that were creative businesses.
Right,
But it also came from me wanting a nonprofit entity that could help build um, a theater for Germantown. Um, what I really, really love about how that first pro and con creating the world you wish to see. What I really love about the journey of me being able to create this world within the Germantown Arts District is I've learned that with time, with circumstance, with the environment, it's going to shift and morph sometime. So in the beginning, I wanted to be the answer to everything. Every gap that there was in the system, I wanted to be able to fill it with the Germantown Arts District. Um, and then I very quickly learned
right, right.
you can't you
You're
can't
gonna learn.
you can't be everything, you can't be everybody's everything. um so I had to reevaluate and figure out how exactly can we narrow down and be most impactful so that people can do what it is that they're great at doing
Right,
and I can do what I'm great at doing and we can have a entity or a system that supports both of those things.
right,
So the Germantown Arts District came about from, you know, those three needs, those three areas. Uh, I think a lot of the work that we do now is rooted in making sure that we're advocating for Germantown. We're advocating for the arts and culture of Germantown. That is what we do. Making sure Germantown is recognized as a destination for arts and culture for the city of Philadelphia, alongside of our rich history and historical contribution. We have amazing artists who are defining what culture is today, working right out of Germantown. And we deserve to be recognized for that, celebrated for that, uh, and encouraged to continue yielding that in our
right.
residents. So yeah.
Now, for a person that's on the outside looking in, they
Mm-hmm.
will say, "Okay, okay, I like what she's doing for Germantown."
Yeah.
Now, is she just marginalizing it for Germantown, or she's looking to expand throughout the city of Philadelphia?
I'm hoping
Okay,
I'm hoping that the model that we set for Germantown, because Germantown is so unique and so niche,
right,
and how it is composed, like we are historic and at the same time very, I say like we pioneer so much for absolutely no reason. Like we just are who we are. Um, and every neighborhood in the city of Philadelphia has their own identity in that way. I think what we try to do is find the sweet spot of what makes Germantown Germantown,
right,
right? Highlight that, and then utilize it for the benefit of the whole city. Now, if I had it my way, there would be someone in every neighborhood who is looking to figure out what their sweet spot of their, area is, extrapolate that and make it work for the whole of the city of Philadelphia. Um, we're a city and neighborhoods, for real. Like, that's what we are. New York has boroughs. We're a city and neighborhoods.
Right.
And each of our neighborhoods has something special and unique about them. I want to take and highlight Germantown for what it is. And I can say that I have a close relationship with what it is because it's home for me. Um, I can't do the same kind of work in North Philly that I do in Germantown without making North Philly home, without building that relationship, fostering it. It would be a little different. It would look different. I would want someone from North Philly to do that kind of work.
Right.
So I'm hoping that we could be a model. I'm hoping that people can see what we do and realize that, our neighborhood doesn't have to be just the stories that other people from outside tell about us, but it's the stories that we tell about ourselves, and keep telling stories about yourself.
Now, I love art. Growing up, I attend Pastorius
Hey,
Elementary School when it was up, Ada Lewis Middle School when it was up, and then I went to Martin Luther King High School off on
hey,
Stanton.
yeah,
So growing up, I used to always draw. I loved
okay,
drawing. I wasn't a painter, but I was a sketcher, a drawer,
love that.
and things like that. One thing I never liked growing up was graffiti.
Really?
I never liked it. I thought that it, it trashed the neighborhoods
Okay.
because one thing that graffiti you know stood behind was it was territories. They would
Uh-huh.
they would tag their
Yeah.
their territories, and I never liked it. And I also always used to wonder how the heck do they get on a highway to spray
To this
paint a
day.
bridge?
To this day.
Where's a cop?
To this
so
day. How do you
so
hang off the side of the overpass
how did
and
you
get
get all the
over
way up
there?
there? So I just never gravitated to the culture of that. And I
Okay.
know that a lot of people in the world it meant a lot to them.
Mm,
But for me, I never liked it. They would put bus stops, bus stops, they put the little chairs there,
yeah.
and it would look beautiful. Then somebody would come and tag it up, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's disgusting. My mom on the side of her house because she lived on a corner house.
Okay.
And another reason why I didn't like it is because they used to tag her side of the house up, and I hated it. We
Yeah.
used to have to scrub the walls and things like
Yeah,
that.
of course.
So I just never took a liking to it. Now,
Okay.
what's your take on graffiti?
Graffiti is an art form.
Okay.
It's somebody's sense of expression somewhere, but every cup of tea is not for everybody. And if
I
it's
like
not your
murals. I love them.
murals are a response to graffiti art
Okay.
in the city of Philadelphia, so that makes a lot of sense. Uh, no, I think graffiti artists are artists in
All right.
their own right. Tagging is another form of expression. It's another form of seeking control of a thing. Even marking your territory, it's you trying to uh, mark your territory. It's you taking
But is
control of
it
an
art?
area. In my opinion, it is. Now, here's the thing: do you have to like all types of art?
No, no.
No, not even a little bit.
Right, right.
I love the concept of the opera. Could I sit through 4 to 6 hours? No.
You been to an opera show before?
Oh dear God, no. But my grandfather's an opera singer.
Oh, okay, okay.
Right. Could I handle that? No. I couldn't. I know for me, I
Right,
couldn't
right,
handle it.
right.
But I can admire and respect the art form, and respect that there are people who enjoy that type of art. But yeah, some graffiti is higher quality than others. Like that's just what art is. Some tags are more simple. Some tags you don't know what they say. Then you
Right.
just out here and it looks like lines, you know.
Right. Right.
But it means something to somebody, and there's a reason that they put it somewhere. Now, senseless tagging, you can kind of tell when it's just kind of senseless, and it's just no real care into it. But there are there are tons of street artists who really put effort into what they do. Like I have some of my favorite artists are street artists. Um, so tagging to me is not necessarily the worst art form that there is. I will say I do enjoy it at
Right.
some point, but I do think there's a respectful way to go about it. I also think the city could use more free walls and spaces
I
and
can agree.
places
I can.
for taggers.
Yeah, I think if they did something like that, like, put a few free walls around the city and stuff like that, for people to express their art, that would be dope.
Yeah.
But how would you feel if somebody spray painted your house?
I want, like I said, there is a respectful and tactful way to
Right,
participate in street art, 100%. Um, period. There's this respectful and tactful way to participate in all art forms.
right,
I'm not gonna get up and start dancing in the middle of somebody's acceptance speech
right,
or at the top of a repast. Like you just there's certain things you just don't do. Um, tagging somebody's home, that's a lot, and I can
right,
see why that would be disrespectful. I mean, I would never want my home and my business tagged. Um, but I do respect the art form.
right, right.
Yeah. So there's a time and a place for everything.
Now, can you
Most
share
things.
a moment, when you did your first GAD festival, that you could look back at it and say, yo, this is why I'm here. This is what I'm supposed to do.
I was so out of it the day of the first festival. I'm so serious. I was going up and down that block like a mad woman. I remember the end of the night not being able to feel my feet and being so grateful that there were so many people around that were just helping.
Right,
I do recall going by and saying thank you to all the vendors and not being able to like comprehend that there were people that showed up and showed out. Um, the first festival, April 20th, there was a moment where my students had performed, and I just felt so proud to be able to like come out of that haze for a second to cheer them on and be excited for them.
right,
There was another group, youth performers, Jenks World Academy. I think that's what they're called, Jenks Academy. They came out and they performed in the street, and that was really, really dope. I remember walking past uh, Pep Squad from Central. They came out, and that made me smile. I remember feeling warm and fuzzy from that
right,
because being able to see, Pep Squad come out for something that I was doing as I don't know how many years ago I graduated. I'm not doing that math. But yeah, that was special. So I would say watching the people actually engage and be present, that to me made my heart really warm. You know, that felt like I can't believe this is real.
Why was it important for you to structure GAD with memberships and community ownership instead of just relying on the outside funding?
Funny story, super real moment. I'm not even gonna give you like a cute PR answer. Um, I am to this day working with the membership model and
Okay.
figuring out like if that is what it is that GAD wants to do and how we want to be structured. Um, the membership model was a requirement of us from outside funding source that we needed to be able to sustain ourselves as a community. Um, and it came with the idea that people needed to pay for the art and programs that they enjoyed. And I didn't necessarily agree. That didn't sit completely well with me
Right.
because we created and access to art is important. Like our whole thing was making art accessible for folks. And when you put a membership model or something on it, like a paywall, it makes it a little less accessible. So um, it wasn't necessarily, I didn't view it originally as folks having ownership in, GAD. I viewed it as there being a paywall for GAD, and I didn't necessarily love what that meant or what that looked like for my community. Um, so yeah, that was something required of a funder, and I think I've learned a lot about it since, but I'm still working through it. GAD is a model that hasn't necessarily existed before.
Right.
Like what we're specifically doing hasn't existed for Germantown before, and I don't mean that in the sense of we're throwing a festival. People have thrown festivals. That's I am not the first or the last to do so. But I mean in the sense of us being a advocacy org, for us working to promote the work that artists are doing, for us working for equal funding or funding for Germantown, the neighborhood, our small businesses, our local artists. Um, I don't think any entity has stepped up and volunteered to do that. Uh, so it's very different to look at our membership model as a asset or not an asset. Like I really have to evaluate that constantly. And some days it feels good, some days it doesn't. Um, but I'm working through it, and I want whatever we decide to be not just logical, but like a sound decision. I need
Right.
it to be a sound decision for my community because that's priority number one.
Now, what role do you see art playing in fighting gentrification in the neighborhoods like Germantown?
So, um, creative entrepreneurship, that is a huge, huge asset to any community. Small business owners who are really into taking up space, I'll say,
Right.
opening a brick and mortar, um, doing pop ups, residencies, etc., in spaces in a community. Um, that's reinvestment. If you are a resident of Germantown or a stakeholder at all and you are reinvesting into the community, that directly combat gentrification. Like that is what good gentrification looks like. Um, I think there's a dire need for us to do a lot more of that,
Right.
in order to keep our community, in order to keep the integrity of what Germantown is. We have to reinvest into Germantown. So I'm hoping that the work that the GAD does inspires people to not only, come to Germantown, experience it, build your arts-based business here, but also for the residents to see themselves as, you know, part of something bigger.
Right. Right.
Open your business here. Stay in Germantown. You don't need to go to Old City to open your business. You don't need to go, out west to open a brick and mortar. There's space and there's place for you here at home.
2016, that's when you started GAD.
No, 2016 is when I started KDD.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's when you started.
dance studio.
Um, in the midst of everything,
Yeah,
the world was hit with a virus called, COVID-19.
yeah.
While you was molding your brand, how did it affect it? Or did it affect it?
Oh, yeah, of course. COVID impacted everybody and everything. Um, I'll say this. KDD was entering our third year, fourth year. Um, we had bills, we had a show, we had things that we were getting ready for that COVID essentially took us out from being able to do. I remember the day the world shut down, and I remember no one thinking it was going to be longer than a week. No one thinking it would be longer than 2 weeks, max.
For real, that's facts.
That was all people, 2 weeks. So when we said bye to everybody, it was bye, ooh, joke, like see you in a week, ooh, stay over there. Um, we didn't plan for not coming back. So we very quickly had to plan for not coming back. As the weeks went on and we realized, hey, so we'll be here for some time, came the need for community, came the need for, I'll say, some joy. And so we had to get creative of how we were going to do that. We built group chats. KDD had all types of chats with our students, with our families. We went to an online model. We were teaching on Zoom. We planned the rest of our show, and we planned the rest of our show via Zoom. Okay. And then we did a COVID safe filming of our show at a production lot in Jersey, masked up, tested, double tested. Like, it was a lot. And we did all this while not charging our family because families weren't working. People didn't have it.
Right.
And it put us in a position where we were paying bills with money that we didn't have, and creating bills with the show with money that we didn't have, but still trying really hard to make things work. Now, we had a wonderful community around us, the people who saw what we were doing and were just like, hey, here's a donation. Because when people are stuck in a house and your only motivation or your only goal is to bring them a little bit of joy and give them a little bit of something to look forward to.
Right.
I think people really appreciate that. So yeah, we got some donations. We got some support from our families. They really motivated us to keep going. They participated in all of our wonky attempt of continuing to host or hold a dance studio virtually. And yeah, we did what we could. But it put us in a tight spot financially. And it took us a very long time to recover. I'll say for some of it, we're still recovering, but it took us a while to recover from.
Now, how did the pandemic affect you personally?
Personally, uh, being in the house, the control thing, you know, being away from people, not having community, really, the isolation. For a while, it was fine. Um, for a while, it was just change of pace. Like,
Right.
hey, I could use some semi alone time. like
Nice little isolation.
a little isolation never hurt nobody. And then after a while, it became stressful. Uh, it became painful. Um, yeah, but you have family, and being able to talk to folks. Shout out to phone. Shout out to cell phone. Shout out to FaceTime.
Yeah,
Shout out to Zoom.
especially Zoom.
Shout out to Zoom because the world stopped, but Zoom kept rolling, and I appreciated that. But yeah, like it was depressing. It was very depressing. I don't think my pandemic experience was unique in any way. Uh, it was very depressing.
The value of money during that time was less than one. You
Money
know,
sucks.
like like it was. I remember they gave out the stimulus checks and everything, but it was like, what are we spending this on? Amazon blew up. DoorDash blew up.
Shout out to DoorDash.
Oh my goodness! Shout out to DoorDash.
Shout out to the essential workers.
Exactly.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the value of money wasn't valuable at that time.
Okay.
You know, I remember I had money in my bank account. I was like, I told my wife, I'm like, what are we spending? Can't travel. Everything is shut down. Can't see family and friends because where we were at, which was in York, Pennsylvania,
Mm.
very strict. Very strict. Had the curfew, things like that. So the reason why I asked you that is because you started your journey with one of your brands.
Mm-hmm.
And for it to affect it early in the game, you know, I think the beautiful part of it is how you navigated through that shift in the world.
Yeah.
And you found once again a creative way of getting the art out there to the people. If if you was to lose everything right now, everything,
Okay.
who is that one person that you will call that would not only give you great advice, but will help you financially and give you words of wisdom to get you back on track?
My mom.
Mom Dukes.
Mom Dukes always for the win. Um, yeah, my mom. And if my mom doesn't pick up, because moms don't be picking up.
Especially when you want to call
when you
for
need
real, for
right
real.
when you need them for real, they don't pick up. I don't know what this is. Like you doing something important. Um, but my mom, and if she doesn't pick up, I'm calling my business partner, Shanice.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Shan and I, we are locked in. Like there is absolutely nothing I feel like we can't handle or figure out, fix, do, create, whatever together. Like um Shan got us through the pandemic.
Right.
Shan was just like, we'll find a way to make the whole business situation work if you find a way to make it make sense.
Right.
You know? Um and typically that's what it is. Like the creative stuff plus the business stuff. Like me and Shan, we rock. My mom is my mom. I've lost everything before. I've sacrificed. I'm a jumper. I don't know. I'll explain what that means, but
I get that.
yeah, when there's an opportunity, if I'm feeling like, all right, God called me to do the thing, I got to do the thing. I'm jumping.
Right.
I'm gonna do the thing. And it doesn't matter what I'm jumping off of, what I'm missing out on, what I'm sacrificing. I got to do it. And my mom has definitely been there to hold me down through things.
Right.
So between the two of them, I'm solid.
Are you a person that's not afraid to start from zero? And how I break it down is, zero plays a part in every level.
Uh-huh.
You know, and zero is the below one. That
Yep.
means you starting with nothing. So you know how you got zero, then one, then 10, then you got, and then
Mhm.
so forth, so forth. You don't come across as the person that's scared to start from the bottom. Like you you come across that you could push whatever you got going on, your pride, anything to the side for the greater purpose.
Mhm.
So are you a person that's not scared to start from zero?
Not scared to start from zero, not necessarily scared to go back to zero.
Right.
Um, I think I'm human, so I'll freak out. I'll crash out. I
Right.
will, and I think that's a part of every healthy
Right.
process.
Right. Right.
Especially when you're brave and you know brave and delusional, because it's always a beautiful mix enough to be familiar with zero.
Right.
So yeah, I don't mind starting. I mean, I pray on everything. So if I prayed on it and I feel like I was told to do a thing, I'm gonna do that thing. Now, if it start from nothing, I'm gonna pray on it a few times. We're gonna make sure we're
You gotta
clear.
make sure.
We gotta make sure. We gotta make sure. Pray on it a few times before I jump. But I've jumped with GAD. I jumped.
Right. Right. Right.
We ain't had nothing. We didn't have a thing. But you jump and you figure it out and you make it work and you listen and you pray and you listen and you stay faithful and keep your eye on what the goal is. I have a 15-year plan. I'm not taking my eye off the ball here. I
Right.
have to
Right.
make sure that I'm carrying out what it was that I was called to do and that I'm constantly listening for if that shift and if that changes. Um, I have to be humble enough to know it's not about me. I have to remove my ego a lot of time. Like I try to move through life as love. Um, and love doesn't have ego. So a lot of times you have to check your ego in order to get things done because as things don't necessarily go your way or as things do go your way, are you able to see that it's not necessarily about self? It's not about you, what you did, how you made it happen or any of that, but about how it's supposed to play out.
Right.
Um so yeah, there's a level of, you know, I don't want to say comfort because no one's ever comfortable at zero.
Right. Right.
But we're cordial. We know each other very well. Um, but I'm always looking forward to what's next.
Right.
Um, and that could be next level one. That could be next two. That could be next back to one. That
Right.
could be
Right. Right.
next back to zero. But as long, like I said, as long as you stay faithful to what it is that you are being called to do, there's you can't worry too much, you know.
Um. Here's a question: how have God played a role in your life?
Oh, I think there's only one rule. Like there's only God here. Um, moving through life and trying to decrease so that God can increase is it's a every day, every minute. It's a minute to minute lesson.
Right.
Um, I don't ever want to do something off the strength of because I think I know what's best. Like I don't ever want to come off as the person who's just moving out of ego.
Right.
Um, I think I move slowly. I think I move I move slowly, and I uh respond slowly because I gotta pray on everything. I gotta wait. I gotta know. Um I try not to get too excited about the wins or the losses, um, because they're all temporary. And I know at the end of the day, we're moving towards something bigger or greater. So God called me to do a thing, and it's my job to see that as an opportunity to see it through, to co-create and co-collaborate with God to do that. And that's all I ever want to do.
Have there ever been a moment that you felt like just giving up?
Every day. No, you have those moments every day. Like
Yeah.
if you're being for real with yourself, it's every day. Like I say, I'm co-creating with God, and I'm trying my hardest to just be faithful, and that's absolutely true. But you crash out. Like you question all the time, not question God, but like you question, okay, did I hear you right? Like
Right, right,
you brought me to level 5. I'm using your analogy. You brought me to level 5, but here we are back at 1, and it just looks like we're going in the opposite direction of what
right,
we
right,
were trying to do before. So you question constantly, um, and it's hard. Like it's community work. Community work don't pay. like like not this one at least. So it's definitely one of those, how do you make it work? How exactly do you make it make sense? And then you have to be okay with making it make sense for you and it not making sense to the people around you.
right, right.
Like what do you do when you are like, no, I get it, this is what I'm called to do, but everyone around you and the people close to you are like, you look a little crazy. Like
Right, right.
what do you mean you don't make money? How do you what are you doing? Um, so you gotta justify and reason with yourself and constantly remind yourself what you're doing it for. That's why you keep praying. Constantly remind yourself why you're doing it, and ask God for that consistent vision. Like this is remind me again what we're here for. Remind me what that 15-year plan is. Let me know one more time.
Right, right,
Like
right.
send another sign one more time. Let me recall exactly what it is I'm doing so I can see it, so I can do what I need to do to push forward, and I can ignore whatever is opposing me that makes me want to give up every day.
Right.
Yeah.
What do GAD look like 5, 10 years from now for
Oh,
you?
that's a beautiful question. The Germantown Arts District 5 years from now looks like an entity building up arts and culture for not just Germantown, but the city of Philadelphia as a
Right,
whole. In 10 years from now, it looks like a model. It looks like a model for what community responsibility to art and culture is for the rest of the world in like urban spaces. Um, I want to build something that allows people to not only uh, display their work, but incubate it, and allows people to be educated around arts and culture in a way that you don't necessarily get in public school,
right.
um, or charter school, public charter. Uh, yeah, I see Germantown Arts District having a home, being a thing, an entity, uh, having a physical space. The Germantown Arts District is an actual district in 5 to 10 years.
What's one project or an idea you haven't revealed yet, but hope to bring it to life through GAD?
Oh, the theater.
Okay. Okay.
The theater. The theater is the end of the 15-year plan. The theater is what that community responsibility to arts and culture looks like. It's a space where artists are able to come and connect with other artists, network, figure out who within a network is able to help bring their dream to life. It's a theater, a space where you can display your work with the highest quality of technology and space. It's a space where you get to learn about all aspects of live performance art. Uh, Almost like if you were able to, if you were able to close your eyes and dream up what a space would look like that trained you and allowed you to explore your creativity fully without any barriers. Place you could go after school, place you could go after work, place you could go every day to work. What would that look like? A place you could go to see shows. Um, it's a district, and I don't want to give out the details or things of that. So I'll laugh it off. Say next question.
I like that you used it. Um, uh, you're a person that come off that, it looks like you put the purpose before yourself.
Yeah.
When was the last time you cried?
Last night? Yeah, last night. I cry often.
Okay.
I cry often when you do, when you're an artist and a creative, you tend to be tapped into your emotions. And I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I don't cry. I don't care. I cry.
Yeah, I
I
cry.
I cry. I cried last night. I got really weary. Festival planning is hard. When you're doing it by yourself,
A lot of
it's a
pressure.
lot of pressure. It's a lot of work. Um, and I wonder if it's gonna be everything that people need. I wonder if I'm doing a good job. And there's no way to tell until it
Until it
happens.
happened.
There's no way to tell until it happens. Um, and I wrestle a lot with making sure that I'm doing what I need to as far as living out my purpose, doing what I need to as far as being obedient, listening to God. Um, and when it gets quiet, when it gets quiet, it gets a little scary. That's when it gets a little choppy.
Yeah. A
Um,
lot of thoughts in the head.
a lot of thoughts, a lot of thoughts. And when your only validation is the fact that you did it or you did something, like I worked my butt off all day. I think I'm doing it right. Um, it's hard to reassure yourself that you're doing a good job or a solid thing. Like I wonder all the time, does it matter? The story?
Right, right.
Does this even matter? This is
But that's you being transparent
yeah,
and real with yourself.
yeah, 100%.
How do you measure success in your own meaning?
You know, a friend of mine, Mr. Stephen Taylor, Stephen C.W. Taylor, he actually asked me a question similar to this. When do you say you did a good job? Like why does it take you forever to just be like good job? You know, you do the festival, it's over and you still don't feel like you did a great job. Like when is the job done? What is success? The job is done, the unhealthy answer. The job is done at the end of that 15-year plan when I had the district, when I had the theater.
Right.
Um, and I say unhealthy answer because I know that the job is done every day. The journey is supposed to be the job. And when I feel full, it's part of that practice that I was talking about earlier, where I was like, in a couple years, I hope to be better. at doing this. I hope to be better at appreciating the little wins every day. Took up a practice where in the back of my notebook I write down a little win that happened. Every little win, just write them down. But yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what success looks like. I think success looks like that vision that I got, that world that I'm co-creating, it coming to pass. I'll know when there are people who are thriving openly in their creativity because of the things that we built, because of the things that we're doing. I want to bring people closer to God through art. I want people to know that they are made in God's image as creators. And that when we make things, when we create, we're honoring. We're doing so in love. We're honoring God. I'll know I'm successful when that is palpable. When I can, when I hear God say, "Good job, well done,
Well done. Now you
well done,
satisfied.
well done," then I think I'll be okay. Now, does that ever come? Unclear.
Right.
Unclear. But yeah, that's the goal.
Who do you dream of collaborating with in the future for GAD?
Oh, the city of Philadelphia. Um, I want to collaborate with larger foundations and independent philanthropists.
Okay.
Because the theater, I think, is bigger than just the city of Philadelphia.
Right.
I'm looking forward to collaborating with entities and folks who already have huge investments or stakes in what arts and culture is. I'm looking forward to collaborating with different academics around how we can best create something for what a model program looks like for community that's like flexible depending on age. Trying to say this without saying too much. I want to collaborate with everyone who wants to collaborate with me, honestly. Like I don't see collaboration as something to hide from.
Right.
And I don't see it as limiting. There are ways to collaborate that I haven't discovered yet. I just want to kind of keep doing what I'm doing, and the people that rock with me rock with me.
Years from now, when people look back and they say, I know her, I worked with her, I've seen what she done throughout the years, I've seen her purpose, I've seen her fight. What is one thing that, to sum everything up of your works, what is one thing that you want the people to say about you, or you hope that the people say about you?
She was love. I want to give love. I want people to feel seen. I want people to feel heard. I want people to know that someone cared, that I cared. And I was honestly just trying to do my best every day. Just that's all. I did my best, whether your experience, no matter what your experience with me was, trying my best.
Now you have a festival coming up.
September 13th.
September the 13th, you have Amir Ali, my homegirl Suzanne Christine,
Uh-huh.
Chill Moody. a
Rhea
bu-
for real. Aquil Dawood. Yeah.
That is a nice lineup. I love
Can't
that
take
lineup.
credit.
I love that lineup.
Can't take credit. That is all SCH Entertainment. Yes.
Now, for people that's going to attend or they they're curious about attending, what can they expect attending this GAD festival this year?
Okay. So this year we got a lot going on. There are creative zones for everyone. We
Okay.
got a film hub run by Three Piece Media. We have what else we got? We got a photography zone run by Immortal Vision Studios. We have a open mic zone, which will be hosted by Rico Anderson and the Roughnecks. So open mic with live band. That's
Nice.
y'all get to jam out, you know. We got a textile zone hosted by Gaffney's Fabric. What else we got? We got vendors, we got food, we got games, of course, live music. We ran through the lineup. We're also doing free dance class. We got the HBCU zone run by AUC Philly Club coming up from Atlanta to Philly to, show what creative opportunities there are on a HBCU campus.
Right.
We have, what else we got? Oh, duh. We got a mural, a live community mural happening.
Dope.
Yeah. I think this is the first time I'm actually saying it to anybody. So we have a live community mural happening, day of festival. So you get to come, you get to paint a mural, be part of something that'll live for the foreseeable future as far as I'm
Not graffiti.
told. Not graffiti. Not graffiti. It's actually designed by Olubafemi.
Nice.
Which I'm just excited that we got to do it. But yeah, we got a lot going on. We got the Philadelphia Union coming out. We got a youth zone run by Natural Creativity. It's a lot happening. Day of festival, a lot.
And Untold, we will be in the building.
Untold will be in the building.
We will be in the building,
I'm
man.
excited. Yeah, it's gonna be a good joint.
My last question.
Yes, sir.
What is one thing no one know about you, but they should?
One thing no one knows about me, but they should.
I get them all the time.
Okay. No one knows? Oh, that was that. No one knows about me, but they should.
Do you cook?
I do.
What's your favorite dish?
I don't have a favorite thing anymore. So this summer I did a lot of cooking. I didn't do a lot of cooking. They're going to cook me for saying I did a lot of cooking. This summer,
like, wait a minute.
Yeah, this summer I made a few new dishes that I was kind of into. Kind of did my thing. I did this stir fry, and
okay.
Honey Girl ain't got nothing on my stir fry. I'm trying to tell you. Honey Girl ain't got nothing on the flick of the wrist. Okay. But yeah, one thing people don't know about me but should know about me. I love rest. Like, I'm bad at it, but I do love it. And rest to me looks like going to the movies, taking it. I like film. I like being able to watch other people's art, and that really gets me going. I like it. It's where I find myself relaxing the most. Yeah, I think that's a little corny, but
no, that's your answer.
Yeah.
That's your answer. If you can go back and tell that 3-year-old girl that loved dancing for the family and stuff like that, if you can give her one piece of advice, what would it be?
If I could go back and give little Kristen that loved dancing and performing one piece of advice, what would it be? When you think that it's over, don't stop. Even when music stops, don't stop.